Y'all need to hear the craziest story about how I exposed a cheater on a first date. This man was really trying to pull off living a whole double life, thinking that nobody was gonna find out. So a few months ago, I'm out at the bar with some of my friends when this really cute guy approaches me. He tells me his name is, let's say, Justin, and offers to buy me a drink. We talk for a little bit, and he seems very normal. So when he asks me if I want to get dinner later that week, I say yes. And when I'm getting ready and going to the restaurant, I'm actually really excited because at the bar, it seemed like we actually had good banter. We're pretty compatible. So I was like, you know what? I think this is going to be a good first date. I was wrong. It was a very bad first date. So I get to the restaurant and he is already there at our table, gives me a hug, and immediately I am so comfortable talking to him on this date. He's so easy to talk to, so kind, so funny. My first dates do not normally go like this. It is not immediately just so comfortable. Felt like I knew him for a long time. And everything he was saying, he was just too perfect. Like I kept thinking of that in the back of my mind. I was like, this man is too perfect, like too put together. Like everything just seems too good to be true. But I was like, Kelsey, you're being cynical. He was telling me about his job and about how he's really high up at this company, which I found really surprising because he was super young, but he told me he just worked really hard and worked his way up. And now he has this really impressive position at such a young age, which again, I was like, okay, this guy is cute, he's funny, he's nice, successful. Like, what is the catch? There's a catch. Justin was also talking a lot about his dog, how much he loves his dog, which I love because I love a man who's an animal lover because I'm an animal lover. So we were talking a lot about our pets, and he said to me, do you want to see the funniest photo I took of my dog yesterday? I was like, absolutely I do. So he shows me a photo on his phone taken yesterday of his dog. And yes, the dog was very cute, but that's not what I was focused on the photo. Because in the background, there was a photo hanging on the wall of Justin and some girl in a very coupley pose, like holding each other, looking at each other in the eyes. And again, this photo he said was taken yesterday. So I was like, wait, who is this girl? And so I asked him, as I'm looking at the photo, I was like, yeah, really cute dog, but who is that? Immediately, he gets so flustered, pulls his phone away, is looking at it, closes it, puts it down. He's like, oh, it's my sister. That's my sister. That is not your sister. If that's your sister, that's weird. You have a really weird relationship with your sister, and already that photo, if that was your sister, would be a deal breaker. So no matter what, this man's not getting a second date, but I needed to get to the bottom of this. So I have an idea. I continue to make small talk with him for another like 20, 30 minutes until he thinks that I've just brushed off whatever that photo instant was. And then I ask him if he can go grab the waiter for me because I want to order another drink. Like I was acting like I was super impatient. Like I couldn't wait for the waiter to come around. I needed him to go get the waiter. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, can you just like go grab him? I see him over there. He gets up and luckily he does not take his phone with him. I knew if I waited for him to go to the bathroom, he would probably take his phone. So I needed to find a way to get him away from the table where he wouldn't take his phone. His phone had been buzzing on the table nonstop, and he kept apologizing, saying it was work, but I had a feeling it wasn't work. When he's a little bit out of my eyesight, I take his phone, I flip it over, and I see a ton of text messages from a girl's name with a heart after it. And I was like, I have a feeling I know who this girl is. Right after I see this, I see that he's coming back to the table. So I quickly put his phone down. The waiter comes over. He's like, can I help you? I was like, yeah, can I get another Diet Coke? And then I look at Justin. I'm like, I'm actually just going to run to the bathroom really fast. And I immediately go run to the bathroom and look this girl up because her name was pretty unique. So I knew it'd be easy to find her social media, and I did. And when I find her social media, it's public and it's filled with pictures of her and Justin. But when I see the man tagged as Justin, the man I'm on a date with, different name. This man's name is not Justin. And it was not his girlfriend. It was his fiance because the pinned post on her profile was a joint post between the two of them showing their engagement, which just happened less than a month before. So obviously I send the girl a message. I'm like, hey, so I am currently on a date with your boyfriend who is not going by his real name. And the girl must have been on her social media right then because I immediately get a response. She asks where I am and says to stall because she'll be there in 10 minutes. I was like, I did not expect that, but I'm here for it. So I go back to the table. I think he could tell something was up because he's immediately just trying to get the check. And I was like, no, you cannot take a girl to dinner and not offer to get her dessert. Can we please see the dessert menu? The waiter comes over and I am reading that dessert menu so slowly. I am acting like I'm making the biggest decision of my life, deciding what I want for dessert. And he is getting so visibly annoyed. Finally, I decide on a dessert that says it takes 15 minutes to prepare. So I knew that would buy me enough time. He was not happy with that choice. He was like, are you sure it's gonna take 15 minutes? I was like, what's 15 minutes? We're having a good time. We're chatting. What's the rush? There's no rush. And as my dessert is coming out, I see this girl storm in who I recognize as his fiance. She comes over to the table and she's just looking at him. I have never seen a man look so scared in my life. She just looks at him and just says, you're such a loser. You're such a loser for this. And then walks right back out. And immediately he goes chasing her. He goes running after her. Luckily, he had already paid the bill at this point, so I was not having to pay for this lying, cheating man's dinner. The next day, I got a message from the fiance saying that she ended it. We also talked more. He lied about his job. He lied about a lot of aspects of his life to make himself seem better than he is. He obviously had a lot of deep insecurities and was cheating and going on dates with girls and lying about his life because he wasn't happy with his life as it was. So he had to go and just make up a fake life and a fake character in order to feel good about himself, which is so, so sad. She called off the wedding and said that, she was already feeling like he wasn't the one, but that was the final confirmation that she needed. So good for her. She's a queen for that. And apparently Justin moved back in with his parents. So that must be fun for him.